Cara Adams, we are standing in front of some gorgeous Firestone tires. They are not identical to what we had last year at St. Petersburg. Tell us about the work you and your engineering team have done with this new lower downforce body kit to make these tires happy with less air crushing them into the tarmac.
So, Marshall, we've had a really crazy off-season. In fact, we ceased to call it an off-season anymore. No, that doesn't exist. Not for us, not for any of the people in IndyCar. So we've actually done a lot of work with IndyCar starting as early as 2017, early in 2017. We worked with simulations, we worked with Honda, Chevy, Dallara to figure out how best to make our tires for this circuit. So we know in a street course, one of the things that we need to do is settle down the rear of the car. There's been a lot of testing at Sebring, which is a little bit different surface than we'll see out here at St. Pete today. But at Sebring, the main complaint was the rear of the car just wasn't settled down. Power on, the rear end of the car got a bit squirrely, so there's a couple things that we can adjust here with tire pressure. We did some testing out at Sebring on the 26th of February to kind of address some of these issues, but you'll see those changes later in the year.
So we talk about tire compound and construction. Those are the things that you, as the chief engineer for these tires with Firestone, you and your constituents are going to be working with and manipulating to tailor these tires, the primaries and alternate, to this aero kit. For those who aren't tire engineers like yourself, what is a tire compound? What is tire construction that you can modify to tailor?
So a tire is made up of a lot of fabric and metal and strings and rubber. So on the construction side, what we're doing is we're moving components around, we're adding components, we might change angles in the tire, and all of these things change the feel of the driver, of what the driver will actually feel in the car. So you change that construction, you can make it softer, you can get more grip out of it. At a place like this, you can make it better over bumps, so when it hits manhole covers or some of the transitions, you can improve that. And then the tread compound is actually right what you see here behind us. This is the tread of the tire, and there's a lot of different compound and polymer formulations that can go to make the tire either be nice and consistent or have a nice amount of degradation over a lap stint.
It's the first day of the season. We're already using words like polymer. One of the things teams are certainly looking for is the difference between going from the Firestone primaries to alternates. What kind of degradation might they find? What kind of speed gains might they find? What might be different here at St. Pete 2018?
So the biggest change is the cars. So we brought a relatively consistent tire, so this tire is the same primary and same alternate compounds as last year with a couple minor construction changes. So what you're really going to see is the difference from the car. So at the end of the long straights, the cars are going to be faster, but they're going to carry less corner speed through. So we might see a little bit of difference on how the balance of the car changes based on these new aero kits. So there's a lot we're going to find out this weekend.
So we're going to hear from drivers that the back of the car is livelier than ever. I know as a tire company, you'd love for folks to hear that it's always stuck, it's perfect grip, more than you could ever imagine. How do you work with teams to get them what they need from a handling standpoint, but also knowing that maybe that dancing part's just going to be part and parcel of 2018?
It seems to be a little bit of a feature of the new aero kit is the car rear end movement on street course. So some of the teams will have to get used to that. There's some things that we're doing tire development wise to address that. But as we've already brought the tires here, so what we can do is do some tuning with some tire pressure in the rear, and we're going to work with the teams to get the best feedback.
How busy are you and your team going to be? Because this is the first time you get to go on track with all the things that you've been testing. 7,000 miles worth of testing, you said, but how happy to actually get on track and start building real race season data.
Yeah, it'll be great to see all of the cars running out together on the track. So we've had one or two cars on the track at a time with our controlled tire tests and our IndyCar aero kit tests. So we'll be able to see what everybody's running all together. So it'll be a lot of work for all of our Firestone technicians that are out on pit lane. We'll work a lot with getting all that information back and comparing data so we can make decisions.
No off season for our friends at Firestone, but thank you for everything that you do, because this should be an amazing year.
All right, thank you, Marshall.